critics have hit out at the Duke and Duchess of Sussex after the couple made a surprise appearance at a premiere for the Bob Marley biopic in Jamaica.
Yeah, now interestingly, they were photographed alongside Jamaican politicians who've expressed a desire to break away from the Commonwealth and therefore the royal family.
So this morning we are asking, do Harry and Meghan pose a threat to the royal family? Well, joining us now is Richard Fitzwilliams, royal commentator, who says that they do, and historian Tessa Dunlop, who says that they don't. Very good morning to you both. And Richard, let's start with you, shall we? So we saw the Duke and Duchess of Sussex at this premiere last night in Jamaica. Do you think this was intentional in terms of timing?
Well, I think the Sussexes do absolutely nothing that is not intentional. I mean, you might not be able to prove it, but it just so happens in the week when, as we know, the King is having an operation for enlarged prostate. We know Catherine is in the hospital recovering from abdominal surgery. We also know that Jamaica intends to become a republic, though it has to have a referendum before this actually happens, unlike Barbados. So far as this is concerned, the Sussexes, they pose a threat to the royal family if they are not in work, which at the moment they don't seem to be, and also they are deeply, and they made this clear, they made it clear in South Africa in 2019, they made it clear on Oprah, they made it clear in that Harry and Meghan Netflix docuseries, and they also made it clear in Harry's memoir Spare, which was most unfortunate, that they are deeply bitter. If they don't have work, and they don't seem to have very much work, to me, Hollywood Reporter called them losers, then they are a threat, because the only way they can get money is by trashing the royal family, which is what they've done.
Tessa Dunlop, are they trashing the royal family by meeting these politicians?
Morning. I fear my dear friend Richard has perhaps rather overstated or overplayed his hand. No, I don't believe they really said anything. They just were invited to Jamaica to a significant premiere. I think I would have gone too, wouldn't you? The bigger issue, and it's almost like Britain at the moment with regards to Harry, is going through the 5 stages of grief. And to begin with, when they left, post that awful word Brexit, there was denial, and then there was huge amounts of anger. And now we're going to try and thrash around through the sort of bargaining depression bit, where we realise, particularly in the wake of a couple of health stories regarding our King and the future Queen, Kate, that actually Harry and Meghan are a huge loss. And then when we look at the optics of the situation in a country like Jamaica, which, by the way, isn't trying to leave the Commonwealth, Stephen, it's trying to potentially move on from being one of King Charles' realms, we see just how valuable the likes of Harry and Meghan's brand are. And there's a sadness, I think. I feel sad they're no longer part of the royal family.
Yeah, well, look, Richard, Tessa says you're sort of over-egging the pudding, if you like. I mean, I have to say, whereas initially the reaction that's seen with these politicians, you think, what are they playing at? There's pictures in the papers of Prince William meeting at least one of these politicians as well. I mean, these conversations have to be had, don't they?
Oh, to be sure, but I mean, when Prince William met Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, this was in March 2022, and this was on a visit which he and Catherine made to the Caribbean, which was not successful. Now, as I say, I mean, obviously the Sussexes can do now what they like. They found freedom supposedly in Montecito, though not a great deal of work. They've lost Spotify. Their accounts were not impressive. All of this means that they are looking to heighten their profile and their brand. Now, if you look at the polls, you see how they're not only rock bottom in Britain, which I don't think they care about, but in the United States. And the problem there is, if they're seen as losers in Hollywood, if they have no specific role, if she doesn't go into politics, if they don't do a great deal of philanthropy, I mean, Harry, by all means, yes, the Invictus Games, sure, and also Well Child, and also Senti Bali and Lesotho, but all of those he did before he was married, I would point out. The problem is, as a pair, at the moment they are not succeeding, and I see this visit to Jamaica as a bit of grandstanding, which has specifically been planned because the Sussexes do absolutely nothing which isn't planned in advance very, very carefully. I mean, Harry may be a knight of the air because there was this rather bizarre ceremony last Friday which he participated in. She wasn't there. Well, they were both there in Jamaica, and they made worldwide news, and the one way they get to make news is their links with the British monarchy, and even the world's most high-profile monarchy. The problem is when things go wrong, they go stratospherically wrong, and certainly I agree with Tessa, it was a tragedy what happened when they felt they had to step down. They blindsided the Queen, by the way, by when they made that announcement. But the problem is that where they are unhappy, as I see it, when it comes to work. And that is the problem so far as the monarchy is concerned, because will we have a series of books? Will she write a memoir? Will he, for example?
Well, who knows? Who knows? Just a very quick thought on that, Tessa.
The idea that Harry and Meghan don't do anything that isn't planned, I mean, where did they get that roadmap from? Everything the royal family do, they sneeze, and it's written in logs and it's been planned 2 days in advance. So I don't think we can criticise them for that. And I really, in many respects, Richard, you're exhibiting the grief and anger that I think the Brits have felt in the wake of Harry and Meghan's departure. And perhaps it's us that need to look at ourselves and ask, why did this impact us so gravely? And on one level, what we've seen play out over the last 2 weeks within the royal family, I think we can understand why this was a loss. Let's own it. Let's say this was a loss. We need to make changes, but we also can wish them well in their new pursuits. So great. They're at a premiere in Jamaica. Like I say, I wish I was there too.
OK.